I am going to do a reading today on self-love. Self-love is something that quite often we don't have enough of in our lives, because we are all essentially slightly wounded, some of us more than others. Things in our past, in our childhood, it affected us deeply, and we have then carried those wounds through to our adult lives. And then we attract situations and relationships that basically give us the opportunity to heal those wounds by providing new lessons for us. And these lessons will keep showing up in our lives. They'll keep appearing until we do the work and do the healing necessary to release those younger wounded parts of ourselves. When a part of us gets wounded in a situation, so when we're in a situation and we get traumatized by that situation, so for example, if you were walking down the street today and someone came up to you and they grabbed your phone out of your hand and ran off, that would be like a trauma to you on some level. And then depending on who you are as a person, other things that have happened in your life, how sensitive you are to situations like that, whether you have a martial arts grounding background or not, how strong you feel, how capable of defending yourself, how much you care about your phone, all of these things feed into how traumatic that situation is for you or not. So it might be a big trauma and it might be a little trauma, but regardless, a little piece of you will then be trapped in that moment with that trauma, and then that will be there in your memory and in your energy field, moving forwards, unless you immediately go home and sit down and do some trauma releasing work like EFT, for example, to just let that go. And then as we go through our life, we collect lots of experiences like this. We carry them through, and we become heavier and heavier with the traumas. And a lot of traumas that happen to us when we are little, whether they are purposeful or accidental, a lot of the times we're wounded when we're little by our parents, by our friends, by our teachers, and a lot of it is accidental. It's unconscious. They don't really mean to do it. Like, our friends don't really mean to wound us for the rest of our life by their interactions if their play is a little bit boisterous or a little bit selfish one day. Our parents don't mean to wound us when they scream at us and tell us off, or if they slap us. That's not necessarily, they're not necessarily intentionally trying to hurt us long term. They're just trying to stop us in the moment from doing something that is like sending them crazy and causing them to go into overwhelm. And it's their wounding, their childhood wounds that are leading them to act towards us in that way. Because if they weren't wounded, then they wouldn't be overwhelmed like that, and they wouldn't feel the need to lash out and then hit us in order to make us quiet. So all of these wounds that happen to us and then that have happened to the people around us, they all fit together and get tangled up, and we're all wounding each other all over the place. It's like, because hurt people. We've all heard that saying before, or maybe you haven't, but it's like, hurt people. When we hurt somebody else, when we are sharp with our words, when we are unloving, it's because we are wounded inside, and something in us is being triggered in that moment, and we are lashing out, and we lash out in the ways that we have learned. So some of us will lash out with our hands, some of us will lash out with our words, some of us will lash out with our behaviour. So maybe we do something which is really manipulative in order to turn the situation around into something that we would prefer. Some of us lash out by just disappearing, checking out, whether that's physically checking out of the situation or just mentally not there anymore. So as we are today, as I am right now, as you are right now watching this video, we have wounded parts within us still that need healing and attention. And these things block our ability to give ourselves love, self-love. And depending on whether we are working through these things or not, maybe we're not aware of this. Like if we are on our healing journey already, then we already know how important self-love is, and we're probably already doing a lot of self-loving things every single day for ourselves, but we can always do more. And maybe sometimes we get blocked by thinking, oh, if I just meditate every day for like 30 minutes, then that's great, job done, I don't have to do anything else. Or if I just do my half an hour of yoga in the morning, then that's enough self-love, and I can get away with eating whatever I want for the rest of the day, regardless of whether it's healthy or not. And then maybe others of us do everything right, or everything that we can think of as right, but it's still not working, it's still not giving us what we want in our lives. There's always maybe room for creativity, for inspiration about what might help. And then there are other people who haven't even started walking that road yet. They haven't even started the journey yet, and the idea of it is just overwhelming and scary. And they're like, okay, I'll start tomorrow, because today I just need to drink coffee all day, with milk and syrup and all of that, and I need to just like binge on whatever your favorite comfort food is, and I need to sit in front of the TV and just binge watch Netflix or Amazon Prime all day. I just need to have to check out because I'm so overwhelmed. I can't even think about changing. Just the idea of it is like, go away. Okay, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll start next week. I'll start on Monday because Monday's a good day to start. And so I thought it would be nice if we could just ask the cards for a little bit of insight as to what can I do today? Like, how can I start? So instead of trying to think of it in a conventional way, like, okay, I need to change my diet and I need to become vegan, or I need to start exercising and I need to go to the gym or at home and do like an hour a day, or I need to go to bed at an hour earlier or whatever. Instead of like thinking of those things, it's like, well, let's see what the cards have to say. Maybe they have something that really far out to add to this that could be interesting and maybe easier for us, an easier place to start and a more impactful place, because the cards are telling us what's actually going to work, what's going to have a greater impact in the immediate. So let's give the cards a shuffle. Okay, so 3 cards came out, and I'm just going to go through them quite quickly because I don't want to do a really long in-depth reading here. So the first card is to do with our past, and this card is showing us this is what we used to do in the past to get more self-love. This is what we thought worked, and this card shows it's the 6 of Cups. And it shows a young man and a young woman, and they're outside in like a nice it looks like a kind of like a courtyard garden attached to a big house. They are across the bridge from the main building. It kind of looks like a National Trust property, like a heritage building. And it looks like it's in the past. It's kind of like medieval looking, and the young man is giving the woman some flowers, and it's kind of like this card is telling us that in the past we thought that gifts and giving a physical item was the way to love. So if we give somebody flowers, then they're going to give us love in return. If we give someone a book or an ornament or a piece of jewelry, then they're going to go, oh, okay, that person loves me because they've thought about me and they brought me this gift, and then they're going to like reciprocate by giving you love in return. And that's not to say that gift giving is bad. Gift giving is not bad. Gift giving is lovely. But gift giving, when you are giving the gift in order to receive love, is not quite right. And if we look at it in terms of our own self-love, our own personal worth, this card is kind of saying, in the past, when you were feeling a bit lonely, a bit uncomfortable, a bit unloved, you went out and you bought yourself something. So you are like the woman in this card. And you went out and you bought yourself some flowers or a top or some jewelry or something nice for dinner, or everything, your way to loving yourself was through material goods. You didn't sit down and meditate. You didn't do some yoga. You weren't going inward and being silent and doing something that was free and freely accessible to you. You were spending money, and in spending money you then felt better about yourself. Now, in the present, which is kind of like up to now, we have the devil, which is kind of interesting and not quite what I expected to see, really. I think this card takes more, like it needs a deeper examination than just what the devil conventionally means in readings. It's like, why has the devil come up? Because I'm sure you don't think you're worshipping the devil, do you? And I'm sure you don't feel like you're under the thumb of the devil or anything, but this is what the card is saying, that basically it's like that in the present you are feeling a deficit of self-love in your life, because you are chained to an unholy God. You are chained to a God who does not love you, who does not protect you, who is not looking after you. This God just wants you chained to his throne and obedient and silent and submissive, because that's how he keeps his kingdom, and that's how he keeps his power, and that's how his ego stays happy. So you really need to question, okay, so what altar am I worshipping? What throne am I worshipping right now that maybe isn't the right altar or the right throne? And the devil takes many different forms on the physical plane. So if we're not thinking about the devil himself, well, who or what is the devil in your life right now? Is the devil perhaps the media and all of the fear that is out there at the moment, and all of the kind of like manipulation of information that's making us believe this and then this and then this and then this, and not trust ourselves? Because all of these people who are supposedly important and who supposedly know more than us, and who are specialists in this field or that field, or they're investigative journalists, they're telling us that this is how life is, that this is how the world is right now, that this is what is happening, and we're confused because how do we know who's telling us the truth? Because everybody is saying different things. So maybe that is the devil you're worshipping at the moment, is like social media and the media, and you were trying to get information about what is going on in the world on so many different levels. Like, there's so much going on in the world at the moment, and this card is saying, like, you're not loving yourself by spending so much time trying to keep up with what is going on in the world. Because it's like, does it make you feel happy when you hear what's going on in the world? Do you feel comfortable inside? Do you feel safe? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel hopeful about the future? Does it make you feel stronger and more confident? Does it make you feel more connected to the other people around you? Does it make you feel hopeful about the babies that are being born today, and about all of the animals on the planet and the planet herself? Like, how does it make you feel when you spend so much time focused on worshipping that devil? And that's just one devil. There are many different devils. So maybe the devil in your life that you're worshipping is your job, and the industry that you are in, and maybe that industry is not like a high vibrational industry. So maybe you go to work every day and you go there and you're working hard because you want to you want to be a good citizen and show up and contribute to society, and you have bills to pay anyway, and maybe you have other people to support, like dependents in your life, and so you have to go there. But maybe every day inside you're thinking, God, I'm such a horrible person because this job is really not helping anybody. And depending on what you're doing, it's like maybe you're selling something that's full of chemicals, and you know that it's not good for people, and you'd love to be able to tell them otherwise, but you can't because your job is to sell this product. Or maybe your job is to phone people up and chase them for their money back when they've taken a loan out, and you feel horrific about it because it's like, well, you know what it's like to not have enough money, and so you don't want to be putting that pressure on people and that emotional burden. So there can be many different reasons why you feel like, oh God, your job is this devil that you are worshipping, and yet you don't know how to break free of it. Maybe the devil you're worshipping is the diet that you are, following, and maybe it's not healthy, and maybe it's not helping your body, and it's a low vibrational diet, so it's bringing you down, and yet you feel you're stuck, you're chained to it. You don't know how to break free because cravings are ruling your life, and every time you try and change course and follow a different diet instead, your willpower crumbles, and you feel deprived instantly, and the cravings come in, and then it all just collapses, and so you feel like you are literally imprisoned to this devil. So this kind of pointing out that at the moment you are chained to some devil and you are worshipping that devil. What is your devil? Who is the devil in your life right now? Maybe it is an unhealthy relationship that you are in, a friendship, or a relationship, your partner, and maybe that person isn't good for you. Maybe they never have been, or maybe they're no longer good for you. But yet you're worshipping this devil because you don't want to be alone. You're too scared to leave them, or you don't know how to change things, or you don't want to come across as cruel by saying I can't be your friend anymore, or I can't be in a relationship with you anymore. And so that person has become the devil that you worship, and you become chained to whatever their energy is doing and whatever their agenda is. So these are things to be conscious of and watch out for. And then the third card is our future card. So this is the card that we really, really want to focus on here in terms of how can I give myself more self-love? And the other two are an awareness of patterns that you have had in your life, and they're things to look at and to heal. There are bigger things to work on, and that will take some time. You can't just immediately change them, or maybe you can if you're really lucky, but most people can't. Most people have to do these things slowly, and probably with help from someone else to hold space for them and to hold them accountable. And then the third card is the Moon card. And this card is a really lovely card. What I see about this card is we see two dogs on opposite sides of a road howling at the moon. And the moon in this card is we see the moon's face through the sun. So we're not just seeing the moon, we're seeing the moon's face through the sun. And then in the distance there are two towers, one on either side of the road, and they look kind of deserted, they're uninhabited, they look cold and kind of lonely, and the mountains in the background also look they're dark, they're dead, there's no life there or whatever, but yet we're in the forefront, and we are under the light of the moon, and we're there's two dogs, and they're playing, and they're on either sides of this pathway, and one of the little dogs is a pet dog, like your pet dog, for example, domestic dog, and the other one is more of a wolf, a wild dog. So it's like yin and yang, black and white, sun and moon, day and night. It's opposite sides, and then there's this water at the bottom of the card, and there's a scorpion in the water. So the scorpion is kind of like a trickster. You have to be wary of scorpions. They're pretend to be safe and pretend to be your friend, but then their tail kind of comes up and stings you, and that sting can be deadly depending on what kind of a scorpion they are. So like the card is kind of saying, it's like, in order to give yourself more love, it is necessary to bring the two opposing sides of yourself together. So the masculine and the feminine, the hard and the soft, the light and the dark, the sun and the moon, the earth and the water, the mountains and the meadow. Like these two parts of you need to come together and be friends, and to stand next to each other, next to this path. So like, you know, each of these dogs is on their own side of the path, yeah, so they're in their own space, their own territory, but yet they've come together to unite under like a common goal, a common source. So they've come together to rejoice, to celebrate their love of the moon, of the cycles of nature, and the phases of the moon and the cycles of the month, and the kind of like the changes that we go through. And they're by the water, and water is all about emotions, and it's about releasing blocked emotions and letting things that are static and stuck flow. And so the card is calling on us to celebrate our darker side, to honor the moon and to honor the cycles of the moon within us, especially if you are female, and to be more like nighttime is a quiet time. Nighttime is a time where we can go inside and we can think, we can take time, we can hold space for ourselves. We're not so connected to the outside world, like the world goes to sleep at night, but we can be awake still in that world, whether we are in our home or whether we are outside taking a walk or in our garden, and we can sit and be grounded and experience the world and all of her power and all of her beauty in silence, without anything else distracting us, without the need to go and buy anything, without the need to consume anything or watch anything or hear anything. We can just sit there outside in nature and be still and be grateful and appreciate how wonderful the gift of life is, and how wonderful nature is, and how amazing it is that no matter what else is going on in our life, the sun still rises every morning and the moon still rises every night, and certain things keep happening over and over and over, and every day we get a new day, a fresh start, regardless. And so it's like attaching ourselves to this knowledge, to this awareness, to this truth, which is like the first most important truth there is before we learn all of this other stuff. If we can hold fast to that, then we can realize no matter what is going on in your life right now, no matter how painful it is, no matter how difficult, how frustrating, how overwhelming, like no matter how hopeless you feel, how desolate, how desperate, how destitute, no matter what is going on in your life, every single day the sun rises and the moon rises, and we can follow that cycle, and we can watch this happening, and we can see the power of nature and of the world, the power of the force that is all around us and that is holding us. Yeah, there are things at play that are so much bigger than we are. Yeah, like the big picture of the world and what's really going on in the world is so much bigger than we can even imagine, yeah. And we get fixated about these tiny little things, and we get so stressed about them and so worried about them, and that's natural because that's how we've been told to navigate the world. This is what we've been taught, it's what we've learned. So it's natural that we see the world like this, with these tiny little kind of like, you know, blinkered glasses on. But it's bigger than that, and it's wider than that, and it's vaster than that. And the things that are important are so much more expansive. And so just remember that every single day you get a chance to start again. You get a fresh start. It doesn't matter what's happened before. It doesn't matter what you're experiencing. Every day you wake up and it can be totally different. So, you know, if you are dealing with, you know, like some kind of illness, and you're in pain and you're really frustrated about it, and you know, you feel really down about it and really hopeless, every day is a new possibility. Every day a miracle could happen in the night while you are sleeping. Your body could heal you and you could wake up completely restored. Every day, because of something you did the day before, like you could have sat down the day before and done loads of healing, like EFT or QEC or matrix reimprinting or TRE, or you know, like Reiki or craniosacral therapy or acupuncture, or so many different things you could have experienced. And you could wake up the next day and you could be completely healed, or you know, at least 5% better or 10% better or whatever, but your life could be transformed. Every day your life could be transformed. Every day your life could be different in a way that serves you, that excites you, that supports you. And so I just want you to take that into consideration, to know that, to believe that, to expect that. And in that way you will draw better things into your life. Yeah, so this is the card that you really need to dive into, to explore. And then these other two cards, you just need to question slightly as well as to how they relate to your life. And then as a final, just before I leave you, I am going to shuffle. I have a deck here, an oracle card deck. It's Esther Hicks, and it's Ask and It Is Given. And I thought I would just pull one of these cards, which are all about the teachings of Abraham. I thought I would just pull one of these just for us and read it. They have like messages on the back, and on the front and the back. So I thought I would just read that for us as a final. Okay. So this is the card we have. And this card says, "First I reach for joy, and all else follows." So we see a man lying on his back in the grass under an orange tree. And oranges are joyful. Oranges are very, very high vibrational fruits. And if you followed a medical medium at all, then oranges are liquid gold. And so they literally are like drinking liquid sunshine. So like, it's like in reaching for an orange, you are reaching for joy. You are putting something joyful in your body. Anything orange that you put inside your body is joyful, is associated with the energy of joy. And this card says, on the back it says, once you consciously identify your current state of emotion, it becomes easier for you to understand whether you are choosing thoughts that move you closer to your desired destination or further from your desired destination. If you will make the improved feeling or emotion your real destination, then anything and everything that you want will quickly follow. So that's just something to think about. What are you attracting into your life? with your thoughts, with the emotions that you are harboring. What are you attracting more of? So if you want more love, then the more loving that you can be towards yourself, the more love you can bring into your heart, the more likely you are to attract love into your life. So maybe that's doing something like a gratitude meditation where you send gratitude to yourself, or then you send gratitude to the world. And maybe that's somewhere where you could start in order to change your thinking and change your thoughts. So that's the reading for today. I hope that was useful to you. If you would like to keep up with more of my videos, then please do subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please like it. And if you would like to know more about me, if you'd like to watch more of my videos, I write a blog article about a lot of my videos. So if you would like to read the blog article that accompanies the video, then you can go to my website, lemonrosepetals.com, and find that there. And on my website you can also figure out how to contact me if you would like to book a private consult, or if you'd like to ask me a question, or just to find out more about what it is I do, or learn a bit more about tarot. There's information about all of that stuff on the website. There's also information about all of the other things that I was talking about in terms of different therapies. So you might find that a good starting point if any of those appeal to you and you thought, oh, I'd like to try that. Then maybe you can start there and then see where else you go afterwards. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.